some reason today that says there was a heavy rainfall warning. Was there a fight here or something? They actually said it was supposed to snow later this week, and actually with all that news related to the wacky weather stuff in other parts of the world, I was actually oblivious to it. But the news about the weather and stuff is apparently about this polar vortex thing. I was completely oblivious to this. Like this one says, how cold is it right now in the US, Midwest, and Canada? A historic deep freeze has fallen over American Midwest this week, resulting in several deaths and hobbling daily life in major cities. Auto plants closed in Michigan, rail travel ground to halt in Chicago, schools closed in Minnesota, and much of Manitoba, southern Ontario, and parts of Quebec endured Thursday temperatures, which with wind chill included reached the -30 or even -40. And I guess the quick explanation here, because I didn't even know what a polar vortex was, it says the cold snap is caused by a split in the polar vortex, a mass of cold air that normally stays bottled up in the Arctic, but can dip much farther south when it gets unstable. So I guess it's kind of like you're living in the Northwest Territories, or maybe like in Yukon or Alaska, like somewhere around there. And just check out all the pictures and stuff. Like this one here says, here are the Wild West photos of the polar vortex rocking Chicago. People had videos and stuff like that, like drone video, just to show how crazy it was. And I was even watching some videos to show it's so cold that apparently like on the railroad tracks, they actually set it on fire to heat it up. I mean, that's crazy. Although the other side of the thought is, since this temperature is probably normal for people way north, is it just that we're not used to it, or is the weather really that bad per se? I guess it's kind of like how some people, they live in a country that's very hot and humid. When they come here, like in normal weather, it's freezing, whereas we go over there, it's like, oh, it's so hot. Whereas a lot of people are like, what? That's nothing. Kind of makes me think with those drone footage too. Who's willing to fly their drone at -40 temperatures with the wind chill and stuff? Wouldn't that just like instantly kill the battery or something like that? Guess the animals here aren't too worried about the weather, huh? And for the drone flying and stuff in Canada with new regulations, this one here says, new drone rules keep Toronto airspace locked down. So apparently what it dealt with is how, I guess in Toronto, there's so many, I guess, airports and helipads around the area that you pretty much can't fly anywhere. And again, the reference to that incident on why they want their regulations, that wasn't even fully investigated. It says, in 2017, a Skyjet plane was struck by a drone as it approached Quebec City's Jean Lesage Airport. Transport Canada looks to avoid this happening again by limiting the airspace allowed for UAV flights and categorizing flying as either basic or advanced operations. So they showed like what the map looks like, I guess, from the NRC site in the Toronto area, and you can see, yeah, basically like red everywhere. Although it's interesting to say here, it says, quote, the NRC is working with Transport Canada on developing an improved web-based tool that reflects the new regulations that are coming into force in June 2019. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how they improve on that site. Kind of an interesting perspective from a commercial flyer, where even trying to go through all the proper regulations, it's still too difficult, like he's saying. It says the approval process Wallace has to undertake for his business to fly in Toronto has forced him to relocate outside of the city. The company will choose to create video and photographic content with drones elsewhere if Toronto isn't a necessity for their projects, he said. Quote, I think Toronto is a terrible place to be a drone pilot because of the several airports, one of which is directly in the downtown core, making it illegal to fly anywhere near them. I would recommend flying in Scarborough as long as one can make sure they are outside the restricted flying zones. It's kind of the same thing here, right in the middle of the downtown core. There's like seaplane areas and stuff like that, so you can't fly anywhere. Although they should just make the process a little easier for people who want to fly it responsibly and all that. Or is that basically doesn't matter to like the big huge corporation, because you know they have all the resources and stuff, they're gonna get approval anyways. Kind of reminds me how unfortunate during that Transport Canada session, like the guy, he implied something along the lines of, is it gonna affect like a few people or something like that? He just kind of shrugs his shoulders like, yeah, like, oh well, that's just part of the casualty. I mean, in my opinion, if you're making a regulation, it has to have a good balance for everybody, not just like, say, the few elite. wolf? That's a wolf or a coyote. I remember you guys told me when the crows start making sounds like that, they're basically warning you. Wow, it's a strong smell.
I just saw it walk. I did a regular. You actually feed it?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Go get the food. Go get the food. Go get the food. Where'd you get it?
That's crazy. Well, at least you guys were right about the crows and stuff like that. First time for me in life. Alright, see you guys later.